Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about Barcelona's expected starting 11 that will be facing up against Rayo Vallecano on Saturday. I know that right now it's very difficult to discuss a topic like this because we are currently facing some registration issues. But remember, like I did say in the previous video, I do believe that Joan Laporta and Mateo Lemán are going to be doing everything just in time. They can even do it 5 hours before the game. It's going to be very similar to what did happen with Ferran Torres when they did sign this player back in January. They literally registered Ferran Torres into FC Barcelona like a day or 2 days before their next La Liga match. So there's not really much to worry about. I do believe that Barcelona will be registering many of these players by tomorrow, which will be on Friday, and then just in time for the game that will be on Saturday. Now, one debut that we should expect to see very soon in La Liga, and something to be very excited for, it is going to be Jules Kounde, which is going to be a player that we are going to be discussing later down this video. But again, the debut is coming very soon for Barcelona. We should also be very excited about that because we look at the preseason and what we did is very positive news. We played well. We played very intense. We look extremely motivated. And another reason why it's also very difficult to make a video like this, and especially this early, is because we do not know if Xavi is going to be implementing a brand new system. But going based off the signings that Barcelona have made, it really does lead towards a 3-4-3 formation. So like for example, Barcelona have signed Jules Kounde, who is very comfortable playing as a right center back. You have Christensen, who has played in a back three before with Chelsea, and there has to be a reason on why Xavi Hernandez chose Christensen out of all other center backs. And then you look at Kessie, who is also extremely comfortable playing as a left central defensive midfielder and can fit within a 3-4-3 and having a 4-man box midfield. And then you have the signings that could have been made but did not happen. Azpilicueta, which was another player that could have played as a right center back in a back three. So again, all of these things do lead towards one thing. We could possibly see Xavi Hernandez implement the 3-4-3 formation. So that is something that again we should expect to see going up against Rayo Vallecano. And going back to what I did say about Jules Kounde, this is going to be a very surprising and a very unexpected start for everybody, because I do believe that Kounde will be starting because there has been many talks surrounding this player as of late. There was a report coming from Fabrizio Romano who has stated a couple of hours ago, and I quote, "Xavi has promised Jules Kounde that he will make him one of the top center backs in the world alongside Ronald Araujo." So you can see that Xavi Hernandez is a huge fan of this center back and he wants to work with this player immediately because the potential that could be built between Ronald Araujo and Jules Kounde is going to be immense. This is exactly what we have been talking about in this YouTube channel, is to see a center back pairing of Kounde and Ronald Araujo. So finally we get to see it finally come into life and within the Camp Nou. And then there was also another interview that was being held with Jules Kounde, and Kounde had a lot of things to say, and so we are going to be discussing on that right now. And this is what Kounde had to say, and I quote, "Xavi told me that I was perfect for his system. We talked about football a lot. It's Xavi. He was one of the best players. The conversation was very good and natural, which is always a good sign." And then the interviewer was asking him, "What are your goals for this year with FC Barcelona?" And this is what Kounde had to say: "Win everything and play well. I'm sure we can go to every tournament with the intention of winning it. On an individual level, I want to play more than the other players and be able to integrate and help my teammates." And then he continued to say, when it came to the tactics, "Xavi wants us to press high, and that leaves a lot of space in the defense behind us. So we need to be in good physical shape. When we lose the ball, the player closest to the ball carrier must press." And so this is telling us a lot. It's telling us that yes, Kounde and Xavi have worked a lot and very intensely. We can also see that Kounde is in a way selfish in terms of his minutes, and in a good way. Like, he's selfish in a good way. He has clearly said that he wants to have more minutes than anybody else. And I do believe that, again, this is very healthy because Kounde is aware of the competitiveness that is going on in FC Barcelona. He is very aware that players like Ronald Araujo and Christensen can easily take his position if he does not perform well. Let's say, for example, if Kounde does not perform well, Christensen can play in his position, Araujo can play in his position, and then you can have Piquet as the main center back in the middle with Christensen on the left side, or Eric Garcia on the left side. So Kounde can easily be replaced if everybody is 100%. And again, Kounde is very well aware of this, and he wants to have all of the minutes. And so this was also in the end telling us and giving us an idea on where this team as a collective, as a unit, is going to be positioned on the field, which is very high, having a very high line. And in order to have a high line, you need to have a defensive line that does have a lot of pace, that can cover a lot of ground, that is able to press immediately. You can't really get that with Gerard Piqué or possibly Samuel Umtiti, which is now going to lead us towards our predicted starting 11, because I do believe that the only starting 11, and to be more specific, the only defensive line that can do that on what Kounde said when it came to pressing high, being very comfortable and leaving space behind, it is going to be a defensive line of Kounde, Ronald Araujo, and Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia being that left center back, Araujo being in the middle, and Kounde as the right center back. As for the midfield, we should expect to see a 4-man midfield forming a box with Busquets and Frenkie as the deep midfielders and Gavi and Pedri as the high midfielders, and then having our front three being Dembele, Lewandowski, and Rafinha on the left wing. And I'm also going to be showing you guys arrows on these players so you guys can have an idea on where they're going to be moving for the majority of the time. And I do believe that a combination like this is going to be great. It gives us goals, it gives us defensive reinforcements. If you guys are wondering what happened with Ansu Fati and Ferran Torres, when could we expect them to break into a starting 11 like this? Well, look, Ferran Torres right now is very unclear on whether he's going to be playing or not. The last thing we heard when it came to Ferran Torres is that he has trained with great intensity as of late, and especially within the past 2 days, but nothing regarding Ferran Torres being 100% fit, that he should be in the starting 11, that Xavi plans on using Ferran Torres on the left wing moving forward. None of that. As of now, it's just Ferran Torres training more intensely than ever before. And then when it comes to Ansu Fati, I know that this is another player that many are concerned about, but as of now, like what we have talked about before, Rafinha is the superior one to be replacing Ansu Fati on the left wing, because he brings the results. He brings goals, he brings assists, he has great connection with Dembele. And again, within the short term, this is expected. We should expect to see Ansu Fati embrace what he once was and what we saw before, maybe by November, because it is going to be taking some time. I'm talking about the Ansu Fati that's very clinical, that has the instinct for goal, that is able to move everywhere with great intensity. It is going to be taking some time, and the more I think about it, right, now that I'm just making this video and talking about Ansu Fati, we should be very thankful that Rafinha has entered this Barcelona team. Like really thankful, because it takes weight off of Ansu Fati. And it's important right now. We are in a phase right now where we need to slowly get Ansu Fati back. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be within the next 3 to 4 days. It's going to be a process. I don't think that's going to be taking 6 to 7 months either, but I do believe that Ansu Fati will eventually return back to his full form, maybe in about 2 months. And as of now, Rafinha is the perfect replacement for Ansu Fati, and he can get the job done. Another player that I do want to be thankful for, it is going to be Lewandowski. Lewandowski is someone that I really do appreciate because of what he brings on the field, of course, but also off the pitch. There was a video that did surface coming from FC Barcelona. They literally posted this on Instagram and on Twitter and on YouTube, but it showed you a video, right? It showed you a time where Lewandowski was with Ansu Fati. You can see that they were in the tunnel ready to go into that game, and you can just see Lewandowski going right behind Ansu Fati, and Ansu Fati at that moment looked very tense. He did not look like he wanted to smile. He looked like he was probably overthinking certain things, like, oh my god, am I going to get injured? What if I get the tactics wrong? What if I don't score goals? And you can just see Lewandowski slowly coming behind Ansu, and the first thing he does with Ansu Fati is telling him, hey look, relax, everything is going to be okay. And then he gave him like a slight massage, he smiled at him, and then that relaxed Ansu Fati. So you can see that Lewandowski is a true leader and a captain, someone who makes the players feel more at home and makes them feel like, okay, you know, don't take this too seriously, everything is going to be okay, we're going to go onto the pitch and we're going to enjoy playing our own football. And so Ansu Fati really did need a mentor like that. So Lewandowski, again, I want to be thankful for this player. He's the perfect player on and off the pitch, and I do believe that with a front three like this is a front three that's very capable to bring the necessities of what Xavi does want: the goals, the creativity, the pace, and the work rate. And throughout this time, while they're doing this, Ferran Torres and Ansu Fati will slowly get implemented. And now lastly, I just want to quickly talk about the formation again. A formation like this, with having a 4-man midfield and forming a box, this would allow Frenkie de Jong to be playing in a very similar role that he's very used to, meaning that if he were to be placed like this, he would be able to pick up the ball in very deep areas, maybe receiving the ball coming from Ronald Araujo, and then making those runs that we all like to see on the field. And then he also does have a partner right next to him, which is Sergio Busquets. So let's see if it does work out. I strongly believe that Frenkie will continue. He will not be going to Chelsea. He will not be going to Manchester United. And no, this does not stop the operation of Bernardo Silva. Maybe in the future, instead of Gavi, Pedri, Frenkie, and Busquets, we see Bernardo Silva, Pedri, Frenkie, and Busquets. Frenkie's here to stay and here to deliver great times for this club. So that is going to be wrapping up today's Barcelona pre-match preview. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.